my dear friend Marco Regil. Many of you know him. He's a TV conductor, he's an activist, he's a vegan, he's love. He's my dear friend, like a brother. I love him so much. And I'm so happy that you're here with us today to share your story of how you became a vegan and why you became a vegan.
Thank you so much. It's been 9 years. This month of August has been 9 years. I grew up as a heavy carnivore in Mexico. I even used to endorse brands like McDonald's and Nestle. And I was working as a TV host on doing Price is Right, The Family Feud, and many other formats. They were sponsors of the shows, and I did what I knew how to do. All that stopped when I realized the cruelty that animals went through in the food industry. I'm vegan now for many reasons. The initial one was the animal cruelty. I had a teacher who passed away a long time ago, I think a couple of years ago, Larry Moss, who was one of the biggest animal rights activists in Los Angeles, and he was a speech coach from Hollywood. I hired him because I was learning to speak English and I had a very thick accent. I mean, I still have an accent, but my accent was even thicker, so I would speak like this. So I had to get rid of that accent and learn to sound more American and more clear. And little did I know that he was an animal rights activist. So he would bring material into the class, had to do with pronunciation, but he would sneak in some material that had to do with what was happening to the animals and the planet and people's health. Like letting me know about that without pushing it. He was very gentle, very subtle. He did it in a way where he would wake up my curiosity. So instead of him pushing me or judging me, because we would eat together, we would spend days together, working together, and we would go out and he would have something plant-based and I would eat meat and he would never say anything. I knew that he was vegan, but not because he was telling me, oh, you're eating a cadaver or something like that, which obviously wouldn't have worked with me.
Of course.
I would have closed myself and pushed away. I had a doggy and he knew I loved my doggy, and then he just started making the connection for me between my dog and the rest of the animals. So what happened is that at some point I asked him, Larry, I mean, is this all true? I want to know more about it. I'm mortified. I'm shocked to read what I'm reading. And then he said, yeah, if you really want to learn about it, go and watch this short documentary on PETA.com called Glass Walls, narrated by Paul McCartney. That night I remember I watched it and it was horrible. I knew I was eating animals, but I thought that, I don't know, like a cow would be a happy cow grazing on the open fields or something like they show them on the marketing, on the TV commercials. Anyways, when I saw the huge cruelty that was happening to the animals, I felt horrible. And I said, I just made the decision, I'm not gonna be a part of this anymore. And it wasn't only like, I'm not gonna be a part of this anymore consuming these products, but I was endorsing the products. I was the face of companies that were selling the products of animals. So I made a commitment, a spiritual commitment with myself and with God. And I said, I know this is gonna be very difficult because being a television host on international networks and doing shows that are very commercial, tons of sponsors, I didn't know how, but I made the commitment of not doing it anymore, and I changed.
That's very brave. That's very inspiring.
It feels good inside.
Very inspiring.
I've learned that money doesn't make you happy. Happiness comes from doing what's in your heart. It's less money, but it's more of a deep spiritual satisfaction.
Exactly.
It just feels good. It's very easy to go like, well, I know that's horrible, but I like the taste. And then you're being selfish, which is fine. Maybe you're not ready for that. If you have an activist in your heart, and you really want to change the world, if you're really open to something that is better, and if you're compassionate, if you can feel empathy for other beings, then it's easier. The first year wasn't easy because I was a heavy carnivore and I would have nightmares about meat and stuff.
Wow.
But I changed, and after the first year went by, and after I learned that I could eat delicious, amazing things that were vegan, and after I started losing weight, I used to have gastritis, colitis, and acid reflux. Acid reflux. The doctor told me that I was going to have to take a pill. I had a surgery and I was supposed to have to take this pill for the rest of my life. Prilosec, a very expensive one. A few months after being vegan, almost a year, one day I forgot to take it, and then I noticed that nothing happened, and then long story short, I stopped taking it. I called the doctor and I told him I went vegan, and he congratulated me and he said, I told you a long time ago, you didn't want to listen. And I remembered that he told me stop eating meat, stop dairy, not only processed meats, but also meats in general. general, and dairy in general, but
highly processed,
heavy
like
processed.
white flour.
I was like, oh my God, I feel better. I lost weight. I'm doing this for the animals, but now I'm going to do this for myself. And then I started learning about the environment, about the planet, about methane gas, and how it's the #1 polluter of the planet and the #1 cause of climate change. So the more I knew about it and the more I experimented it, I had no reason for going back. So it's been 9 years.
Wow.
And then I met you and met other wonderful vegan friends, and we created a community.
Yeah.
And now we have our vegan mafia, the Latino vegan mafia.
We're the Latino vegan mafia.
You belong to both.
Yeah, I belong to both. And you've done so much work too in the US.
Yeah, I've been a few times to Congress with PETA and with other organizations. A couple of weeks ago, we were there speaking with congressmen and congresswomen from the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. 2 days ago, a new bill was signed to take away the funds of the VA, which is the Veterans Affairs Committee in the US, because they were doing very cruel experiments with puppies. They were putting them on treadmills and forcing them to go forever until they got a heart attack. People in Congress didn't know about this, and this was being done with taxpayers' money. So there's an organization called White Coat, and we went there with them, and we got introduced. We were welcomed by 15 congressmen and congresswomen. We made a mock of The Price is Right, which is a show that I used to host in Spanish. So we called it The Price is Wrong, and we had like 150 people in Congress coming to our event, and we had a bipartisan bill, meaning someone from the Democratic Party and someone from the Republican Party presenting this bill, and it was passed unanimously. This is going to the Senate floor, and there's so much to do, but I'm very active on that.
Yes, even in Mexico, you were the head lead of stopping the circuses.
Yeah, I work with Animal Heroes and my dear friend Antonio Regil and his organization and many other people. Even PETA was involved. I mean, but directly Antonio and his organization were negotiating state by state.
Animal Heroes.
Animal Heroes. We were able to stop the use of wild animals in circuses. By the time we had 15 states together, then a federal law was passed, and Mexico banned the circus even before than the US and before than many other countries in the world. We're just learning that animals are not created for us to eat, to wear, or for our entertainment or exploitation. I think it's a matter of evolution. I mean, back in the day, and some people still in the world keep thinking that women were created for men. And with that philosophy, women have been exploited and diminished. And I don't think that women were created for men. I mean, I think women exist for their own reason. Same with black people.
Exactly.
Black people were not created for white people. Nobody was created for anyone.
White people for black people.
No. It's like, no, there's no excuse. Even if you think like that, even if you have this mentality of, oh, everything was created for me because I'm the center of the creation, don't we have a responsibility to take care of others and being compassionate with others? If you want to learn what's happening to the animals, I would strongly recommend Glass Waltz with Paul McCartney. The deepest one is called Earthlings with Joaquin Phoenix. If you want to learn about health, then I would highly recommend going to Netflix and watching What the Health.
What the Health is so good.
Or Forks Over Knives.
Yes.
Both of them. If you want to learn about the environment, I would recommend Cowspiracy. There's another one called Speciesism that is really good. It talks about when you say, well, a dog is my friend and the pig is food. Yeah. Well, you're discriminating by species. So it's just a matter of evolution. And little by little, we're changing and we're getting better, and we're center ourselves more and more in our hearts in compassion and love.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm sure that it's going to inspire a lot of people. And go watch the documentary, see for yourself, and try it for yourself.
Yeah, and if you have Spanish-speaking friends, ask them to go to PETA Latino. If you speak English, go to PETA.com. If you have Spanish-speaker friends, you can recommend them also to listen to my podcast, which is a radio show.
You talk about the vegan lifestyle, spirituality.
Yeah, physical, mental, spiritual health.
Relationships, sex.
Yeah, all of that. You've been a guest on the show many, many times, and it's only in Spanish for now.
I'll leave the link below.
Yeah.
And subscribe there.
Yeah, and very soon in English, we're going to have the Marco and Friends podcast.
Ooh,
that's going to be called
I like that. I love it. Yeah.
You're one of my friends.
I'm a friend. Hey, I'm part of the vegan mafia. All right, see you guys in the next video. Love and light. Bye.